going to factor this by grouping. First step, multiply the x squared coefficient by the constant term. That would give you negative 180 in this case. So we want two numbers that multiply to give you negative 180 and add to give you 11. Now there are lots of numbers that multiply to give you negative 180, and we could be sitting here for quite a few minutes trying to figure out what those numbers are that add to 11. So let me show you a way that I like to use that helps sort of hone in on what the number should be. So I got that 180 from using 12 and 15. So I'm going to write down to start 12 and 15. And the bigger number, 15, would have to be the positive one because these things add to a positive number. So I'm going to make that a negative 12. When I add those, that gives me 3, which is not what I want, right? So I'm going to think of another number that goes into negative 180. Let's say 10, because it ends in a 0, that's easy, and 18. The bigger number would have to be positive again, so this would have to be negative. Those add to 8. Now, I didn't get 11, which is what I wanted, but I'm moving in the right direction because the 8 is closer to 11 than 3 is. So I'm going to keep trying a number that's a little farther away from negative 12 right here. So let's say I got negative 6. Negative 6 does go into 180 30 times. When I add those, I get 24. That is too far because I passed 11. So if I'm going to have numbers that work, they have to fall somewhere between these two factor pairs. So I check to see if 8 goes into it. 8 does not go evenly into negative 180, neither does 7. So the only other option I have is negative 9, which goes in there 20 times, and that does work to give me 11. So now I can take those middle x term, and rewrite it using these two numbers. Now again, it doesn't matter which order you write those in. You can put the 20x first and the negative 9x second. Then I'm going to group the first two terms and group the last two terms. Always remembering to put this plus in the middle. I'm going to pull out the greatest common factor in the first set of parentheses, which would be 3 and an x. That would leave me with a 4x and a negative 3. And then I'm going to pull out a common factor in the second set of parentheses that makes these parentheses look like what I get here. So I can pull out a 5, and that would leave me with a 4x minus 3. These two things are the same, so I know I did it right. And when I look at these two terms, that's the common factor, so I can pull it out. When I pull it out of this, it leaves me with a 3x. And when I pull it out of this, it leaves me with a plus 5. And that's the factor form.